Hi there, in this video I'll show you how you can use the visual selector in Distill to view your selections and modify your selectors. For this video I have gone over to amazon.com and I've put in a keyword, and this is the search results page that has been showcased to me. Prior to recording this video, I have downloaded the Distill extension and pinned it on my browser tray. Let me access it by clicking it. And here I will see the option to monitor parts of a page. Let me go ahead and click it. Now this has opened up the visual selector view. You can see that Distill is saying that the selector is on, and I can click elements on the page to begin my selections. You will see your selectors appear here, and you will view the preview of the text associated to your selections appear here. So let me go ahead and click on the first product name that appears in the results feed. You can see that visual selector has picked up the XPath associated to this particular section that I have clicked, and the text associated to it has been showcased in the preview panel here. If you want to stop selections on the page, you can simply click the pause button here next to select elements. If you want to continue making your selections, simply click the play button here. Distill will allow you to make different type of selectors. Here we have the option of choosing between XPath, JavaScript and CSS selectors. If you want to expand or narrow down or even delete your sections, just click on the caret icon next to show actions, and this will open up the different actions that you can perform. For example, if you want to expand your selection, click on the expand button. Notice how the element being tracked changes from span to a link. You can even track different attributes and properties associated to your selections. For example, now that I have picked up this section, I can track the link associated to this particular product title because it opens up the product details page of this particular item. I can even track the link associated to that particular product details page. So if I choose to click on href attribute, you can see that Distill is even tracking the link associated to my selection. If you want to undo this, simply uncheck the tick box here. These are the different types of attributes and properties that Distill supports. Now, if you want to make multiple selections on the page, Distill allows you to do so. If you want to perform more actions on the page, you can use the expand selector or narrow selector options. Let me go ahead and expand my selection here to showcase how it works. So when I click on the expand button, keep an eye on the preview panel to notice how the area of my selection has expanded. You can see that it picks up additional text. Notice how it has picked up this entire section now, and if I continue to expand it, it will pick up the entire first item in the product results page. Distill even allows you to deselect elements within your particular selection. In my case, let's say I do not want to track the image here. So I'll simply hover over it with my mouse and you will see it outlined in a red border. Now if I click on it, you will see that it will be deselected from my selection, and Distill will group it under the deselected section of the visual selector. You can easily view it because it is highlighted in red. You can even make multiple selections on the page like I mentioned before. Let's say I want to track the menu bar on this page. Let me go ahead and click on all electronics. Notice how it has appeared in the preview. Now I'll go ahead and expand my selection. Notice how it has picked up all the items in the menu bar, and you can see that I have two selectors appear here in my visual selector view. If you want to pause your selections, just click on the pause button next to select elements. If you want to expand the view of the visual selector, use the expand button. If you want to collapse it, you can go ahead and click the collapse button. And if you want to navigate out of the visual selector, simply click on the close button. And if you're happy with your selections, just click on save selections, and this will redirect you to a options page where you can further configure your monitor. You can even make modifications to your selectors at this point as well. You will just have to click on open web page selector and it will take you to the web page again, and you can make more selections or modify your selections here and then save your selections again. Now let's see how you can use the visual selector in your Distill web app. For this, let me go ahead and copy this URL. Head over to the Distill web app. It is on monitor.distill.io. Let me click on add monitor, click web page, and here I will paste the URL of amazon.com. This has the search results of my keyword search. You can see that it has loaded up the page. The visual selector is activated because you can see that when you hover your mouse over elements, it's being highlighted. To expand the view of the visual selector, simply click on this gear icon, which will help you expand or collapse it. Now I've expanded the view of the visual selector. Notice how it looks very similar to the visual selector on the extension. And here you can add selector by clicking on add selector or simply using your mouse to make selections. Just as I did before, I'll go ahead and choose the product title as my selection. Notice how it has picked it up. It allows me the same options of expanding my selections and contracting my selections. Notice how my selection has expanded and this is the preview shown. I can even contract my selections and track different attributes and properties associated to my selection. I can even delete my selections. The visual selector works very similar to how it works on the extension. Now let me show you how you can modify your selectors. Let me do this via the browser extension. I am on the same search results page. Let me go ahead and make new selections. So I'll click on the extension just as before and click monitor parts of a page. The selector is on and I will be choosing the product title as my selection, and it has picked the XPath associated to it, and in the preview you can see the text appear here. Now let's say the scenario where I want to track all the product titles that have come up in this search results page. Notice how in the XPath it has picked up the first title associated to the search results page with the indicator of the numeric 1. Now if I go ahead and modify this by deleting the numeric indicator of the selection, my selector has changed to pick up all the titles in the search results page. Notice how all these titles have been picked up because they have been outlined with a black box and they are all grouped under here in my preview mode. So let me go ahead and save this selection, and now I am directed to my options page where I can further modify my selections or even configure my monitor further. So I hope this gave you an idea of how to use your visual selector both in the web app and on the browser extension, and you have learned how to modify your selections, make multiple selections, expand, contract them, and even deselect portions of your selection.